Between 1921 and 1939, George Brough built some 3,000 handcrafted motorcycles, which had a well-deserved reputation for excellent quality and performance. At Arpion in France in 1928, Brough recorded the land speed record of 210 km per hour on one of his own motorcycles. After the First World War, Colonel T.E. Lawrence, better known as Lawrence of Arabia, became disillusioned with the political situation in Great Britain and decided to join the RAF under the assumed name of T.E. Shaw, in part to escape some of the fanfare surrounding his wartime activities in the Middle East. Leading aircraftsman Shaw soon developed a penchant for fast motorcycles, and over a period of around 10 years, leading to his fatal road accident in 1935, owned a succession of 8 Brough Superior motorcycles. To many, the Brough Superior is to the motorcycle what the Rolls-Royce is to the automobile. Shortly after his death, Lawrence's second book, The Mint, was published. In this autobiographical account of his time in the Royal Air Force, Lawrence describes an impromptu race he had on his Brough with a Bristol Fighter F.2b aircraft. With the Omaka Fighter Collection's Bristol being based at Omaka, it was decided that a Brough Superior motorcycle should be located and that a recreation of the race would take place at this year's show. Luckily, Ian Nielsen of Auckland was willing to bring his rare motorcycle to Marlborough, and so preparations were made to recreate this event using historically accurate machines. A week before the airshow, a practice session was held at Omaka in ideal conditions. While it was difficult for Dave Lockhead on the Brough to travel very fast on the grass surface of the aerodrome, it was nevertheless great to see these two famous machines running together, probably for the first time since the early 1930s. Unfortunately, Easter weekend was not going to be so ideal for the reenactment. On Good Friday, the scheduled race practice could not take place due to the atrocious weather that prevailed. Conditions on Saturday were much better, but the flying program was running 10 minutes ahead of schedule, and so the Bristol was landing at the same time the Brough appeared on the field, ready for the race to begin. The two vintage machines were displayed together in front of the crowd line, with the intention that the race proper would run on Sunday. Sadly, this was not to be. During an earlier segment of the show on Sunday, the Bristol suffered some engine damage, meaning that it could not take to the air for the scheduled race. While everyone, including the crowd, were naturally disappointed at this turn of events, it's a reminder that when dealing with vintage machinery of any sort, flying or otherwise, it's best to assume that not everything will always work out according to plan.